Runway 27 left, clear to land.
Heathrow is Britain's biggest and busiest airport, but it's under pressure like never before.
Can confirm patient is conscious and breathing.
Expect the worst, plan for the worst.
What's going on? They're totally messed up.
From disruptions in the skies...
There's a police helicopter. We have drones at Heathrow.
Unwelcome arrivals...
There's something in them that's smack. That's heroin.
We've got a full emergency at RVP South.
and drama on the runway.
Looks like you're in the Starship Enterprise, going into warp factor.
There's no let-up for the army of staff dealing with over 80 million passengers a year.
I'm going to put it over here, OK? I don't react very nicely to being shouted at.
On the airfield, in the terminals...
Yeah, you won't be able to take these items with you, OK?
And at the UK's biggest border.
Hello, where did you start your journey today?
People are not very good liars. They might think they are, but they're not.
With access to every inch of Heathrow...
Oh, I say, no one's done this for a long time.
I know. You're very kind.
Everyone is making sure Britain's busiest airport is always open for business.
Oh, I think it's going to be good fun.
It's the start of a new week, and today the airport will greet nearly 500,000 visitors coming through its sliding doors. On the welcoming committee front line are Heathrow's 81 passenger experience managers.
Right there, boys.
Their domain is the 3 square miles of terminals as they rove around looking for passengers in need.
Further down that way.
OK.
You sit on your right.
OK, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Last year, Terminal 2 was voted the world's top airport terminal. And in charge are legendary duo Demi and Sue, who has quite the talent for spotting passengers.
Who's he with? Is he with you, madam?
With guns.
What lovely muscles he's
Thank
got.
you very much.
Very, very nice. How many times a week do you go to the gym?
I train twice a day. Twice a day, yeah.
Goodness gracious. Do you
Just
need
get
a
me out of
partner?
trouble. Get me out of trouble.
Do you need a partner?
Are you offering?
Yes.
Come on, girl. Come on. Come on, let's go. Come on.
While Sue's getting swept off her feet,
Do you know who it is?
Demi's checking out someone out of this world.
I think we've got a Hollywood actress over there. I've been told that's Sigourney Weaver. She was in Alien, man. Alien.
Could you go for
Alien?
I just wanted to say I'm a big fan.
Alien. Alien?
I think it's Alien.
Yeah. So, hi, Sigourney, I really like you. She was, yeah. OK, thanks. But you might not want any interruptions.
But no time to grab an autograph.
I've got interruptions over there, though. Thai Airways.
I'm waiting there. Can you stay and they talk to come here?
I don't want to waste any more of your time.
Let's see what we're going on here. Oh, dear.
I literally checked in about 2 minutes before you did. If 2 minutes. And apparently got the last seat on the flight. And then he has not.
Yes, that's why she has her tickets and I don't have anything. So.
OK, so you're flying, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go to check-in assistance and they'll assist you here. You don't really need to be at the ticket desk.
Well, they sent me over here, so what should I do?
What, the check-in assistance?
Yeah.
Based on the fact that, what is it, a name change or...?
Nothing, I just said the machine didn't let me in, they said come over here. She got her ticket out.
OK.
Demi doesn't understand why so many passengers are being denied a seat on their pre-booked flight to Bangkok, given the fact they're on the biggest passenger plane there is, the double-decker Airbus A380.
Morning, ladies. Morning, gents. Hello, how are we doing?
If there's one person that will know what's going on, it's Thai Airways duty manager, David.
Today, our flight was downgraded from a 380, which went technical, to a 777. So that made us overbooked by about 40 passengers.
This Boeing 777 is a significantly smaller plane, with half the number of seats of its cousin, the A380, which sadly is unwell, with a broken wing flap. So duty manager Dave is trying to find space on other airlines.
We spent the last night trying to rebook passengers and this morning. So we'll look in the system, see which carriers have seats available, and then we will transfer that passenger to that airline.
With just a few seats free on other airlines, Demi now has to diplomatically break it to the waiting passengers that there are no guarantees they'll fly today.
What they're going to try and do, which they're aiming for, is to try and find a reroute for you today. What time is that? I don't know. We'd leave it to the ticket desk staff. The worst case scenario, if they can't find anything for today, you'll be going on exactly the same flight tomorrow.
just stupid, isn't it? They know it's 380 coming, and they send a stupid plane.
They bring the
Well,
777,
exactly,
yeah.
so it's stupid.
But that's a downgrade.
With his hands tied, Demi now has to make a bad situation good, or he'll have 40 passengers in a serious flap. Keeping Britain green and pleasant often means one thing: precipitation. Rain alone at any airport is very unlikely to cause any delays or cancellations. And out on the apron, that's airport speak for where aircraft are parked, someone spotted an intriguing side effect. It's one of the lesser-known natural wonders of the airfield.
So this is when you get excited. As the engine starts to rotate, the moisture's being sucked up and you've got like a little mini tornado at the front of the engine. I still find that quite exciting when I come into work and I see that on a day basis. It's like, wow.
This is Airside Ian.
Perfect.
He's a senior airfield officer and his job is to maintain the airfield. From parking planes to battling with birds, Ian keeps Heathrow running, and for him, it's a dream come true.
Does it still excite you when you see planes around?
Oh, yeah. I can't believe that I come into work and I'm plane spotting every day, and I'm bird spotting. You know, I'm getting paid to do two things I like to do in my spare time, so it's great, you know.
Surprisingly, the airport is resident to over 3,450 different wildlife species. For their safety and the safety of passengers, Heathrow monitors and catalogues all animal movements, the majority of which are birds. And today, Airside Ian is on bird patrol.
Heathrow attracts certain types of wildlife because of the open spaces, so things like lapwings, gulls quite like it, pigeons, falcons. It also attracts kestrels because there's lots of grass. They're in battle with crows because crows are just always around.
Ian's job is to identify which birds visit the airfield and where they congregate before they become a danger by flying into the engines of 300-ton aircraft. And Ian is an expert. He speaks bird.
I've done a blackbird before, which annoys my wife sometimes. Because it's like a whistling, more like a... I can't do it really loud, but it's more like a... And a blackbird warning sign is more like a... I can't... Oh, I can't do it at the moment. But it's obviously a lot louder, and that's like an alarm call for a blackbird. You hear it sometimes. And then the other one you get is like, you get the kites, and they're like... They're like meowing, the buzzards and the kites will do that. But obviously that's a lot, you know, get a lot louder.
Ian may appear to have a cushy job protecting the airfield while it's all quiet, but with the wind whipping up, the threat level of birds hitting planes is very likely to increase. Inside, protecting the 80 million yearly passengers, are teams of armed police.
OK, obviously the threat level is severe. It's been like that for a while, so an attack is highly likely. You're obviously firearms officers, so you're well aware that use of force under firearms is down to your good selves to make those decisions.
After 9/11, Heathrow police doubled overnight, with patrolling officers carrying semi-automatic guns as standard.
OK, thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Go and enjoy.
Starting their 12-hour shift together are officers Dave and Terry.
You're no good working as an individual, you work as a team, so, you know, if you start working individually, that's when things start failing. Here we are.
But it seems Starsky has lost his hutch.
Did Dave actually come out? Right, where is he? Dave! Dave! I've been walking around this yard looking for you for the last 5 minutes. Right, the coffees are on you. Oh, that's brisk. Oh, let's get inside.
Every day, police patrol the 5 square miles of Heathrow as part of their strategy to prevent crime and terrorism. New boy Dave has only been working at the airport for 3 months, so he's got a lot to learn.
I still find the airport a maze.
You're still the new boy?
I'm still the new boy, but with Terry here, he shows me where I'm going.
The font of knowledge.
The font of all knowledge at the airport.
And with Terry's 2.5 years at the airport, he's more than willing to share his font.
Look how big that Great Wall of China looks in this picture. But when you actually stood on it, because I went there in October, it's not actually as big as it looks there. It's tiny.
Like a philosopher.
This is Brazil.
Is that Brazil?
They call him the Redeemer.
The Redeemer, oh, okay.
So it's very nice.
It looks like Jesus to me. I didn't know it was
Well, yeah,
called
but
the
that's
Redeemer.
what they call it in Brazil.
Okay. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
But Terry's tour of the 7 wonders of the world has to be cut short.
Go ahead, call up.
8 RVP South, full emergency.
I'll do it.
It's time to head to their blues and twos.
We've got a full emergency at RVP South where more information's coming on as we're going.
RVP means rendezvous point, south of the runway.
That's problem unresolved.
A plane's just taken off, but it's in trouble.
Matt, unresolved technical problem. It sounds like it's going to come back.
A serious situation has occurred, and air traffic control need to halt all aircraft movements.
2-9. First 9, go ahead.
2-9, if you just hold position there, please, and contact ground again, 121.855.
121.855, holding position, 1 clear 9, thanks, bye.
With the full emergency, there's lots of officers that will go because we don't know what the severity of the call is yet.
Whilst emergency services have been alerted, Heathrow is heading to a complete standstill.
Can you give me a +5 on the speed of 147, please?
Up in the air traffic control tower, emergency protocols have been triggered. A plane bound for New York has had to turn around due to a fault with one of the engines.
Returning aircraft, very heavy landing, and there's an engine warning light.
Officers Terry and Dave are on their way to one of the designated emergency meeting points near the runway.
Obviously, the worst case scenario being that there's a major fault with the airplane, you know, and there was a fire or something. So our role would obviously to preserve life and to assist with any scene that there would be.
United 959 are at Titan, turn left and hold Alpha 3.
With the plane only 15 miles out, air traffic controllers sterilise the southern runway, meaning no one else can land or take off.
Checker, roger, hold short.
Hold short, checker.
Some of Heathrow's emergency services, as well as other local fire and medical units, are in position at the mouth of the southern runway.
Sarge, it's an engine fault, right?
They're talking to the airplane now.
One of the engines has gone down due to oil, so they've switched one engine down.
Okay, so I've been designated as the cordon officer, so should there be anything dramatic that happens, yeah, I'll be responsible for deploying units. Worst case scenario, I think we all know what that is. You've got everything here on standby, ready to go.
All departments of Heathrow are ready to react.
Field desk, Raven.
Including Airside Ian.
Go ahead, right.
Yeah, any more details on it?
It was a returner, so it left here and it's come back again. So it's due in 4 minutes, landing 27 local standby.
He's abandoned bird patrol and now on standby to help in the worst case scenario of a crash.
What can happen in an instance is that you don't touch any of the parts because it's part of that accident investigation, but you make sure that people stay away from it. So it could be the point that you're just stopping as a cordon. However, though, if you stopped here and passengers started disembarking the aircraft, it's like come over here, come and stay safe, and you try and guide the passengers so the passengers are safe really. So it could be a sort of any task that you're given to.
The plane had to turn around almost immediately after taking off, and it's now on its final approach back into Heathrow with only one engine.
Virgin 23 Juliet and runway 27 left, cleared to land. The wind is 220 degrees, 10 knots.
Laden with a full tank of fuel, it will be making what is known as a heavy landing. This puts the aircraft at serious risk of structural damage, as well as having the potential for it to catch fire.
Expect the worst, plan for the worst, and then as it comes, we deal with what happens.
The passengers will be aware of the situation. They'll be reassured by the captain on board the aircraft. But you do on occasions get nervous flyers, they start to panic on board, but the crews generally on the aircraft are all perfectly trained for that. there you go. The aircraft safely down.
So that's a kind of sigh of relief for the airport, is that?
Yeah, that's a big sigh of relief. That means it's okay. Checker's doing a quick inspection to make sure that everything in the aircraft has stayed on the aircraft and nothing has come off, no bits have fallen.
The systems and plans in place here are so swift and efficient that it's literally over in seconds, so provided it's a good result, which it is today.
As passengers safely transfer to a different plane, technicians swoop in to thoroughly check out the faulty engine. Ian goes back to birdwatch, Terry and Dave back to their beat.
Carry on, Constable.
And up in air traffic control,
Cougar 277, runway 27 right, clear to take off. Surface wind 220 degrees, 10 knots.
departures and arrivals can resume.
Take off Cougar 277.
But for some passengers, a departure is seeming more unlikely.
How long have we been stood here now? Maybe nearly 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
One desk.
9 people trying to help, but there's one computer, one telephone.
A plane bound for Bangkok is in a bit of a flap. In fact, it's missing one. And because the replacement plane is smaller, 40 passengers are going nowhere. Demi is in the eye of the storm.
Right, give me 2 seconds, all right, I'll just find out, because they're like running around. But I'll get the facts, all right?
Demi needs to find out what deal Thai Airways can dish up.
535. 535, no, that's pounds. And how many is that in yours? 600, right, okay.
In 2012, compensation for not boarding an overbooked plane changed, and you can now get up to 535 quid.
Okay, so, what the deal is at the moment, you're going to get denied boarding compensation, which is £535 per person, equivalent to €600 per person. You'll get that.
Cash now? Or...
I think you go to TravelX, the money exchange, and you get your money there. I would have rather seen people that actually wanted to come off than people that have to come off.
So will it be Demi's deal or no deal?
We don't have enough time, really, to do a lot of Thailand, so like the days are pretty precious.
I have a connection to Australia, so...
What have we decided to do?
I think we're going to decide to take the later flight.
With these and other young lovebirds deciding to take Demi's deal, 2 seats are now up for grabs.
Do you want to go or do you want the money?
What's the flight? That's what we need.
Today, now. If you don't want to do that, you'll wait there, you'll get your compensation. Because there'll be someone that will take them. But if you want to go, you can, but you ain't getting a penny.
Do you want to take a chance on another one? We toss a coin, shall we? Heads we go, sure. Heads we go, tails we go. All right. Oh, you call it.
Heads. Go.
We go.
We go. All right.
Yeah. That just cost us €1,200.
Accountant.
And had they gambled, they could have had their Thai fish cake and eaten it.
Yeah, €1,200.
We've got a flight leaving only like 4 hours after our original flight. Still direct, but we get £1,000 in compensation for 4 hours delay. So
Win-win, I think.
It's like a day at the races, isn't it, losing money?
Got moved to a British Airways flight at 3 o'clock this afternoon with
and we've got £1,000 in our pocket.
Bag of sand in the pocket, so yeah, happy days.
And Demi knows what he'd do with half a bag of sand in his pocket.
I'm going to get a lot for £500. In Thailand, I'll probably get something for about £40, to be honest with you, but it'll be a Rolex, but I don't know what part of the X will be missing.
Back on the apron, Ian has resumed birdwatch duties, the blustery weather putting him on high alert for birds flying into aircraft engines.
A windy day like today, it's great because you can get migrating birds and they're blown off course, and you might get to see something that you'll never have the chance of ever seeing because it's not from this country. And if you had a firecrest and you reported you had a firecrest on the national Twitter page, everyone coming down to try and have a look at it, really.
But the firecrest may have to wait.
What? If I have a look down there, I've just seen some crows, I think. My nemesis. Phoenix from Raven.
Go ahead.
I just advise you, Grass Area 9 at Alpha 4, there's 3 crows and some starlings. I'm going to attempt to disperse them in between movements. It's a species that outsmarts you rather than, I mean, they're very clever. without a doubt.
The trick to dealing with feathered trespassers is to use a variety of different dispersal techniques. And Ian has the ultimate deterrent.
Someone like you say will answer you back, even if I will make the sound, some of them will answer you back. I always think the stubborn ones are the little juveniles. They're like teenagers, you know. It's like, yeah.
Having tried car horns and bird impressions to no effect, Ian has no choice but to deploy a very special piece of equipment.
So it's just a plastic bin liner, but if you hold it, you shake it, it just, from a distance, all they can see is a black object. They're black, so it looks like you've got one of their mates, you know, especially with
Ian's finally caught up with the flock that's been eluding him all day, but he must time his approach.
Right, so what I do is I don't want to go over there now and get the birds to rise and then flock off. And as if they fly off, there's a flock in that manner. As the aircraft's coming down, don't want the flock comes up, the aircraft goes through it. So to stop that, I'll wait for that aircraft to go past, and once it's rolling, I know it's no longer an issue. So now I can go ahead for it. So that's a flock of about 40 starlings and 3 crows dispersed. So that's been effective today. And that's made the aircraft, as they're coming down, safe, and that's just part of the airfield safe.
Thanks to Airside Ian, Heathrow now has a bird-free airfield. Well, almost.
So, well, I was bird spotting today, so, I mean, there's a big falcon if ever I saw one. You know, that one's not going to go away.
He's coming over your head.
Just over there, so that you get a little bit more hairy, probably.
Looking at that, you can see quite clearly that there's going to be drugs in there.
And we're back at Heathrow tomorrow night at 8. Still to come tonight, things didn't go to plan, so the gang have to go back in to finish what they started. All new Hatton Garden continues next.